No one wants to be diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. It's a misunderstood illness. It's got a stigma around it. You get a lot of comments, oh well, I'm tired as well, maybe I have it, and that's really difficult to deal with.
May 12 marks International ME Day, which helps promote awareness of this debilitating condition and offers support on how to deal with it. Charlotte has been living with chronic fatigue syndrome for 7 years, but she knew something was wrong long before her official diagnosis.
It would have been about 2013, and I was a busy mum of 3, had 3 under 3, and I was going to the gym a lot and working, so I had a really full life. And I suddenly just began to feel really extremely unwell, very fatigued, but a absolute bone-shattering exhaustion. So not being able to do any of the activities that I was used to be able to do, so I had to give up my job. I stopped going to the gym immediately, and I was really confined to the couch. I actually had no idea what was wrong with me. I knew there was something wrong with me. The doctor's was a 25-minute drive. We had limited funds, so I would go and get some blood tests, and they'd say, oh no, you're absolutely fine, there's nothing wrong with you. My white blood cells would quite often be elevated, so they knew I was fighting an infection, but it wasn't really showing in any other tests what it might be. So it was just repeatedly going back to doctors. I had no answers, and so I was really hiding it from a lot of people that I knew.
Charlotte says it's a different kind of fatigue.
Standing up is difficult. Standing up for periods of time is impossible. And my children were just, you know, in the room with me, but I wasn't able to really even care for them at that time.
For husband Daniel, daily life is also challenging.
I always feel like I'm flying solo. You know, I can always go and talk to Shah, but, you know, sometimes I need help, and just not being able for her to just get up and help me is quite difficult. So we've got 4 little ones, and with 4 little kids, it's tough. They run around like headless chickens, and sometimes I need to, you know, get some partner advice, or, you know, something's going wrong, and she's not there.
But help is out there in the form of Tauranga-based group Complex Chronic Illness Support.
So in the Bay of Plenty, we have a field officer here, as well as many other staff. We've got a field officer in Whakatane. We do one-on-one consults with people with chronic fatigue and their families. We can sit with them and create a plan to move forward with their journey towards wellness.
Tauranga resident Lucy has been living with the condition since a medical event as a teenager.
I was really active beforehand, very academic at school, so going from what I was really good at doing to not being able to do it, or thinking that I was just pulling a Hollywood, even though I knew I wasn't. I didn't really know how to tell anybody how I was feeling, so it was kind of push through, you're unfit because you've had surgery, or so, you know, I did the typical teenage things. I would rest up all week to go to a party so then I could make friends, and then I would crash for months afterwards.
Once she was diagnosed, things started to look up.
So it was validation of how I was feeling, I think, was probably the biggest thing, and being able to explain to people that it is a thing, because I'd always, you know, thrown chronic fatigue around, but nobody really knew what that meant, and I thought that was just, I was just tired all the time, but there's so many other things that kind of encompass within that, and I think that's why the name chronic fatigue syndrome doesn't really do it justice. A lot of people would say, oh, do you just fall asleep randomly? And I'm like, no.
Living with the condition is hard at any age, but it's especially hard when you're young and move to a new city.
Socially, it's very isolating. I'm lucky to have friends and family around me. I have most of my immediate family close by in the Bay of Plenty, but socially I haven't made any friends since I've lived here for the last 2 years because I'm not at work. I've chosen not to work because I realised that I actually wasn't living. I was living to work.
Educating herself about her health struggles has been a big help.
Since I've learnt more, I've been able to teach my family and friends more about what I need or what I shouldn't be doing at a certain time, and actually being able to say no. You know, people said that COVID lockdown was really hard. That's how I live day to day anyway. And even just going into shops and people sneezing and stuff like that. Somebody might have a cold for a week and I could have it for 2 months.
Financially, it's a strain.
There's not enough knowledge out there to empower managers or people who are employing to be able to help those people out to actually be in a job and earn an income.
Lucy's advice to others is to find the right people to support you.
I've put myself in situations where people will push me way too hard and they don't get it, which is not their fault, but I guess we talk about building a tribe at CCIS, which is, and that might not even be family, it could be people who are around you. So I've got very little energy to spend on people, so I choose the people that I spend time with really wisely.
CCIS supports around 7,500 people in the Bay, but says many more may have the condition without yet realising it.
If you feel that you're unwell, you can either go to your doctor and get a referral through to us, or you can come directly to us. Go onto our website, ccisupport.org.nz, and we have this little tab called Help for Me, and we go through what we can actually provide a person, how we can support them and their whānau.
A public seminar in Tauranga is planned for July, where anyone can ask anything about the conditions to find out more. Gavin Ogden, Local Focus.